What's going on, everyone? Mike Kadlick and Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media, back with an emergency edition of the Patriots Daily Podcast because the Patriots just re-signed linebacker Jahlani Tavai. We're going to get into all of it. A reminder, we are powered by Prize Picks and Game Time. Head over to Prize Picks and use code CLNS for a first deposit match bonus up to $100. And go get your tickets at Game Time. If you use the code CLNS, you can get $20 off your first purchase. So, Taylor, let's talk about it. It was reported by ESPN's Adam Schefter and Mike Reiss that the Patriots extended linebacker Jahlani Tavai. He's getting a 3-year, $15 million contract, which can be worth up to $21 million in total. So divide that by 3. That's $2 million extra per year. He can get that in incentives, bonuses. We haven't got the gist of the entire contract yet, but that's what we're looking at. Tavai, obviously, I believe he was a second-round pick from Detroit, got cut a couple springs ago or summers ago, signs here with the Patriots because he was a Matt Patricia pick, comes here, has a couple good seasons. He was then signed to a 2-year extension worth $4.4 million in 2022. So was heading into a contract year now and obviously is again re-signed. So he joins also David Andrews, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Josh Uche, Anthony Jennings, and Ramondre Stevenson as Patriots, who signed extensions this offseason, clearly looking to build from within, draft and develop, sign and develop, things like that. So initial reaction for you, Taylor, of the Jahlani Tavai signing, what it means for not only the Patriots as a whole, but their defense heading into 2024.
Yeah, no, this is huge for the defense. Tavai was someone I was hoping would stick around for a while. Now, he didn't participate in any of the spring practices, which I think we all assumed was likely due to injury. We always saw him with Taki. So I wasn't sure what his status was and whether or not he was a priority, but it made a lot of sense. This is a guy I actually tweeted this weekend. He's been one of their most underrated defenders, and I guess you could say players overall for the past 2 seasons. Like you mentioned, didn't work out with the Lions, but that was kind of the story with the Matt Patricia Lions. A lot of draft picks that did not pan out. Obviously, in his first year with the team was pretty quiet, but he mentioned last season that being with the Patriots and getting to learn the system really allowed him to grow and develop as a player. He is one of their most valuable defenders, especially in nickel. Now, he doesn't really play in their dime packages because that's where you get like the 3 safeties. Usually Bentley's the guy in the middle. He did actually fill in for Bentley against Miami and in Germany against the Colts. Did an admirable job, and he got to show his range and coverage, which is something that even though he is an early down presence, he still has really good range. And you see that statistically. PFF had him as a top 10 linebacker in terms of overall grade, run defense grade, and coverage grade. And you saw even going back to 2022, he'll make plays on the ball. He does a really good job in zone coverage, reading quarterbacks. He can also really get up there. He's got long arms. I think he's got like 5 or 7 passes defended over the past couple seasons. So he's an impact player. And we also saw last season he really stepped up in terms of forcing fumbles, recovering. I think he was part of the play where the pass got tipped in. I think Jabril Peppers kind of caught it off a ricochet or something like that. Like, he really did become the kind of player they needed on a defense where they lost so many key pieces, and you started to see like turnover started to dry up. He and Peppers were the reason that kind of came back to the defense and they started making those impact plays. So I'm really excited for this move. I'd like to see maybe Tavai get more of an early down role. I'm not sure whether or not that's going to happen, but in the nickel package specifically, I'm actually studying this right now and the mechanics of how the Patriots nickel grouping works because they do so many different things. What he is in that defense is what's known as an adjuster. He kind of described it to us last season, where we always think of him as an off-ball linebacker next to Juwan Bentley, but he actually has the flexibility to play off the line of scrimmage or bump down and be an outside linebacker, which kind of helps with the fact that they lost Matt Judon. So on those early downs, you could put Anthony Jennings on one side, have Tavai on the other if necessary. And that flexibility allowed them to, if an offense decided they wanted to go with tempo, you could really just shift fronts, whatever you wanted to do. And Tavai gave you that flexibility. I uploaded a play onto Twitter where you actually saw against the Jets in that season finale, he's on the line of scrimmage, bumps off as an inside linebacker. They go from a 5-down front to a 4-down front. It messes with the Jets' blocking rules. Tavai ends up one-on-one on a pulling guard. He gets to get out of the way and makes a pretty impressive stop on Breece Hall. So the versatility, the toughness, one of the few linebackers who can both be suitable in coverage, but also bang with guards and interior linemen and get guys off him and be that more physical presence. So really well-rounded player who's really valuable in this defense, even though he doesn't get a ton of credit. And this was a move that I was really glad to see because, again, he is so integral and so effective.
Yeah, I was hand up. I was so wrong about Jahlani Tavai when he first signed here. He was a practice squatter early. They signed him to the practice squad. He played towards the end of that 2021 season. And then he comes in, or 2020, 2021, whatever it was. And then that first training camp where he was here full time, I was like so against him. Like, I thought he had rocks in his cleats. I thought he was super slow. I thought he was only that banger that you were talking about on the inside. Thought he couldn't get lateral. And boy, he has completely done a 180 from that camp. He obviously made the team. I remember talking, for a long time during Patriots beat that year with Barth, where I was like, he's not going to make the team. He's not going to make the team. And Barth was like, the one thing Bill Belichick does is tell the truth. He does a lot of things, but he does tell the truth. So when he says something in an interview or a press conference, listen to him. He rarely lies. He rarely says something that's not going to happen. And he continuously said, Jahlani's going to be a part of this defense. He's going to be a part of this defense. He's going to be a part of this defense. And I was like, I was young. I was foolish on the beat. And I was like, no, he's not going to make the team. He's not that good. Lo and behold, he makes the roster and has been awesome since then. You mentioned he's really developed into somebody who can be solid in coverage. I think he's somehow gotten faster, or I just didn't realize that he was actually pretty quick on the field because he did look super slow at times. But he's somebody who obviously now really important to this defense. They extend him once with the 2-year deal. Now they're extending him again for 3 more, continuing to keep that core intact. And that's been this theme for the whole offseason. We've talked about it. I listed the guys before. The last time we were on here talking about an extension was Ramondre Stevenson, and we asked who was next. And at the time, we thought it could be Davon Godchaux. He was the holdout. We thought that, maybe they would make that happen. But obviously, it's Tavai. So who do you think's next? Who are the candidates? Are they going to get something done with Davon Godchaux? Did this surprise you? Did the Tavai extension, kind of come out of nowhere for you? And what do you think is next in their plans in terms of keeping this core group together?
So one thing I'll say when it came to Tavai being slow, I never thought he was slow physically, but I think maybe just mentally, because so much of being a good linebacker, for linebackers, I don't think you really have to be fast. You can be Fred Warner, run a 4.3, 4.4, whatever, and those things are great. But the faster you can key in on the play and actually go in and do attack mode, that's what speed is for me at linebacker. And I think that's where we've seen Tavai take steps over the past 2 years. He doesn't look like he's thinking. He's out there just playing. That's been huge in his ascension. Again, the extension didn't surprise me. Really, the only thing that was standing in the way for me was the injury situation, because he was such a consistent impact player for them. And he's not super old, where Jabril Peppers is a guy where I could also see him getting an extension, but he's kind of getting up. Actually, no, Kyle Duggar's older than he is. So I can't even say that. Maybe Jabril Peppers, honestly, now that I think about it, he's been in the league for a while, but he has his versatility. People keep saying the Patriots need a new free safety, and I understand in terms of unlocking Peppers' versatility, but he was a really good free safety. He wasn't just there as a body, which sometimes as a free safety, it's basically just don't be the last line of defense. Don't get beat over the top. Don't give up any posts and make that tackle if you're the last guy and a running back breaks free. Peppers wasn't just that. He was also showing range to make plays, making up for other people's deficiencies. So I could potentially see Jabril Peppers being another guy they want to keep around long-term, especially that leadership. We can hear Jabril Peppers when he's on the field, so I put him in that category. With Davon Godchaux, I think Matt Judon's more likely to be somebody who sticks around, because Judon, another guy who is a very vocal leader on the defense, someone who has every down flexibility and ability. I don't think you necessarily want him to play every down, especially because you have Jennings and Uche back. You have Keon White, who's really more of a Dietrich Wise type with the flexibility to play some of Judon's role. But I do think he's a guy that you'd like to see him retire as a Patriot. He even said himself that understands he can't really hold in. He didn't like how it felt last season. And I think that team first attitude especially will be something where they really try to find a middle ground. Yeah. But with Godchaux, I don't know if he's upset with Barmore's deal. Like we mentioned, he doesn't have guarantees. He's only on a 1-year deal. If it's just guarantees and he wants to make sure he makes his money, I get that. If this guy's looking for a Barmore type contract, I'm sorry, Devon, but we got to be realistic. This is a guy who only gives you run defense, which is big, and they were a great run defense, but you can get by in this league with average run defense because there aren't many offenses that are really going to commit to running the ball down your throat. And even if they do, there's ways that you can supplement that, to a degree, obviously, and still be effective. And they got Barmore in the middle. You still have talented players. So unless they give him his guarantees, I don't think anything is going to happen with Godchaux. If he wants a long-term deal, I just don't think he's going to get it. And I don't love the hold in either, because I just think it's a bad look for somebody who he's a starter in terms of snap count. He's one of their higher guys in that regard, and he is valuable, but he's a one-dimensional player. And I think you just have to, have some level of self-awareness when it comes to like, dude, this is a passing league and you are a run stopper. There's only so much, you can squeeze out of that rock.
Yeah, of course. We'll obviously see what happens. Again, I think Judon makes a lot of sense, a guy who has been a leader. When I spoke with him earlier this offseason, did an interview with him, he told me that he wanted to retire as a Patriot, and he doesn't want to do the hold-in thing either. Like you said, he's kind of over that. So if he's going to play ball with them on that front, then perhaps he does just, he toes the company line. He plays well in camp. He comes back from the injury, and then they reward him and give him an extension that can keep him here long term. But we'll obviously have to wait and see. I also like the idea of Peppers as well. And we're going to get to all the safeties in our next edition of Patriots Depth Projection coming soon here on the channel on Patriots Press Pass. So make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Keep it locked in here on CLNS Media, clnsmedia.com. Myself and Taylor will have coverage of the Patriots' entire offseason leading up until training camp at the end of July. So again, make sure you keep it here, rate, review, subscribe, and keep it here for all your Patriots coverage. So again, a reminder, we are powered by Prize Picks and Game Time. Head over to Prize Picks. Use code CLNS for a first deposit match bonus up to $100. And head over to Game Time. CLNS code, $20 off your first purchase. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll talk to you.